Yo, the resellers are crazy. They're losing their minds. Okay, listen, 4G, he's out there listing an Enfant Riche de Prime t-shirt for $4,000, and yet there is a very well-known reseller store out there that is now making their own fashion that they think can compete with all the Chrome Hearts and Dior Homme and Enfant Riche de Prime and Balenciaga, etc., etc. They think that these could fit in? Maybe they're right. The one we're talking about today is called Blindate. Actually, Blindate Inc. We're going to take a close-up look at both of these pieces, and then we'll try them on. I'll tell you how they feel, how they fit, and we'll see if they have achieved in their mission of creating basics that will work within their luxury realm. I'm super psyched. This is so weird. You do not see this very often. All right, let's check them out. Hey, while you're here, like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. It helps me in the algorithm and takes you 2 seconds. Do it. So here we have them. This is the C1 and C2 by Blindate Inc., the famous fashion resellers. They've got a really good store, great stock, great inventory, but they have decided to get into the fashion game by making it themselves. And they really promoted both of these together. I think they're made to work well together and work well with many different kinds of things, but that's what we're gonna put to the test here today. So this is the Scar long sleeve, that's what they call it, and let's start there. So from a distance, this may just look like a relatively normal long sleeve, but there's actually a lot going on here under the hood that I find really, really interesting. First, you can see right off the bat, the fit is very unique. It is a slightly cropped waist that comes up a little bit high, and then you can see that these sleeves are very long, at least comparatively. And that's for a good reason. They've put some extra room on these sleeves because, thumb holes. So this is meant to go over the hand a bit so that you can get your thumb in there. And while we're looking at this, there's a little extra detail here that you may be noticing, which is that this is a layered piece. It's a single long sleeve piece, but these long sleeves are sewn into the arms of a short sleeve t-shirt here. They've made the really smart choice with the long sleeve of going with a black thermal fabric, thermal knit, incredibly comfortable. They've actually got a pretty quiet, subtle split seam here about halfway down, and they change the direction of the thermal, it looks like, or actually maybe even move, oh no, it's a tighter ribbed material down at the bottom. Very, very cool. And then if you follow this up, it goes under the sleeve, and both of these pieces are sewn in at this seam right here at the shoulder. So immediately you've got a good base here for layering and with a really considered fit. Like, it may not be for everybody, but they haven't just made an all-purpose t-shirt here. They've made some choices with the thumb holes, the thermal, the length of the sleeves, the length of the body, the fact that it's slightly cropped. These are all very, very strong. Not strong, I don't know if they're good choices yet, but they are choices that have a clear point of view and a clear intent, which I really appreciate. The neck is like a fairly standard crew neck, ribbed right here as you can see. This is almost identical to the necklines on a lot of Enfant Riche de Prime pieces, and I think that's probably no coincidence. They probably look to pieces like that as a base for their shirt here because the material choice is also quite similar. It's fairly thin. It's not quite at the paper thin level, but I really do feel a lot of similarities here to ERD. You can see they've chosen to go with a raw hem, which just naturally rolls up here. And the sleeves are raw as well at the end at the cuffs here. But that does bring us to one choice that I will criticize. So when you're making a t-shirt like this, you're generally using a machine called a serger to finish your edges, and that's what gives you this kind of overlocked, is that the right word, closed off seam here. Like where a stitch would just be a single line, the serger closes up the edges so you don't have a bunch of fabric hanging off. And one thing that you're left with when you use a serger is you usually have a fairly long piece down at the end. For a good example of that, let's look to this sleeve here, where you can see that. This is everything that's left over at the end of the serger. And I can tell they were going for a kind of rough punk look, but you've already got a rough look from the raw hem, so what I would have preferred that they would have done something with these ends as most brands do when they finish off a seam. It's just kind of unnecessary. Like, it doesn't feel like it adds to the look. It just feels a little bit messy. But I do really like the setting they chose, where if you look at the outside of this seam here, it's got a very kind of scar look to it, like a sewn up wound or something. And the only branding that exists on this entire piece is at the back of the neck right here on the outside. So this is visible to everybody. And this is the Blindate Braille logo. I wish you could actually feel it like Braille, but it's just woven into the tag like a fairly normal brand tag type of fabric. And I do like the if you know quality of this. Like, if they start making more stuff and it starts popping off, that's a good touch, kind of similar to how you see the Rick Owens landing strips and Maison Margiela, the little white stitches at the corners of the tags, that's another giveaway. So I like adding something a little bit subtle branding-wise, but I don't like that this is the only thing that exists. And I mean the only thing, because there is no care tag in here, and I think that's a miss. You see, if this does pop off for them and starts doing well, you want care tags to be able to help authenticate and give you some more information about the piece. Like, I want to know what this was made out of. I want to know where it was made. I know that this is tagged a size 2 because I bought it, but there's nowhere on here that it says it's a size 2. So for people in the future, if I'm reselling this, it just makes it a bit tougher, and I would like to have that information. I just like to know more about the pieces I own, so I wish they'd invested in care tags for these pieces. But the cut and the look of this are both winners in my opinion, so my criticisms are more just like little nitpicks that I think they can do better going forward. Now let's move on to these jeans, and these are so cool. A very different type of cut from the t-shirt, but in a good way. You don't want everything to be the exact same proportionally. So these are a really nice pair of black denim that then flares out at the legs. So a nice flared pair of jeans, and you can see the main kind of like design pop element here is the studding around the right pocket. So this is very much, I would say, like a hysteric glamour, Japanese fashion kind of thing. Obviously would fit well with a lot of punk-oriented stuff. You could wear this with like Vivienne Westwood or Chrome Hearts, all that stuff. And I do like that they kept it minor. They didn't go crazy, because again, I think they want these to be elevated basics. So what do? They give it a well-considered fit, once again, with the flare, and just a nice little design detail here that gives it that punk edge. Now, moving in more specifically, the denim that they're using here is very nice. I do like it. It's kind of like a mid-weight, I would say. 5-pocket style, as you can see with the little guy right here. The sewing is very nice, really well done. Nothing too out of place looking to me. Like, they've done a really good job there. And they've also included a little metal D-ring right there. Again, really well considered, thinking about their clientele who are probably quite likely to be wearing things like wallet chains for extra style points, you know? Another thing I really like is that they've gone with a zip closure. I much prefer that to a button closure. I know people say that they're more likely to break or whatever, but I would rather have the convenience and have to replace that rather than deal with buttons every day of my life. Nice monochromatic metal button here. And again, the only branding that exists is that same tag, but this time it's on the inside of the waistband, not the outside. At the back, once again, that flare becomes really clear. It's nice and pronounced, but not overbearing. Fairly standard jean pockets at the back there, but you also get another centered metal D-ring on one of the belt loops there. Great touch. Again, I've seen ERD use, I think, like almost this exact fabric for their lining in jeans and pants, so they're in good company here with their choices. And this, I think, is a more, I don't know, complete and polished piece than the t-shirt. Although, I don't know, I might personally prefer the t-shirt. This is really well made and designed. I don't really have any criticisms of this one, aside from, again, the lack of care tags. I would love to know more info about where it was made and what it's made out of. The only other criticism I have isn't really about the jeans specifically, but is about the concept of both of these pieces forever. And this is something very expected for a brand that is just starting off. These are their first pieces, which is crazy, but they were selling these together. They're clearly meant to be like of a piece and be worn together, saying they could work together, but they're different fabrications, so they take dye differently. And you can see there is a very clear difference in how the fabric has taken this dye. The t-shirt is quite a bit darker than the jeans. And again, that's to be expected, but moving forward, if you're putting out a set, I think it would be nice if they really, really matched on the color, so they were both of a perfect piece, you know? Again, I totally get it. It's not really important. Your blacks don't always have to perfectly match, despite what some people may say, but it would be cooler if they did, you know what I mean? But anyway, these pieces, they look so cool. And they've made some real design choices here. Like, there's a point of view. There's an opinion on what they think looks good. They didn't just throw out a long sleeve t-shirt and jeans to try and make some extra cash as an incidental purchase when somebody's at the register, you know? They really put thought into these, and effort, and craftsmanship, and it shows. And I think that's super cool. The price point on these also is really good. It was really reasonable. They were both in the, you know, $100 to $150 range, which is expensive for a t-shirt and a pair of jeans. But when you're going up against the Chrome Hearts of the world, it's incredibly reasonable. They really are priced at the level of basics, and I really appreciate that. And I think that's really smart positioning from a brand perspective. If they want to be the go-to when somebody needs something to go with another high luxury designer piece that they've purchased from Blindate, this is really smart. All right, I like what we're working with here. I'm very interested in these pieces, but they are nothing if they don't feel good, fit well, fit with other pieces in my wardrobe, etc. So we have to try these on. But I'm gonna put them to the test. I'll try them on, I'll tell you how they feel, how they fit, but we also need to see if you can actually build multiple looks around these pieces using them as the base. So let's see what we're gonna try on with them. All right, so we've already got our top and our bottoms, so we don't need much to fill these out. We just really need outerwear and shoes and any accessories, whatever, if we want that stuff. But I really do want to put these to the test. Are these the types of things that you can wear with all sorts of different stuff with these as your base, as your basics? So we're gonna try it out. We're gonna see how they do with color, with streetwear stuff, with tailoring, it's all piled up, you can't see much of it, with boots, with sneakers, with dress shoes. Let's see if they can really hold up against true designer clothing. You've been challenged, Blindate. Let's see what happens. All right, before we can try any of these fits out, we need to put these pieces on, these Blindate pieces on. So let's start off by putting on the jeans. Oh my God, okay. They did a really good job here with the fit. These are a size 2. They're doing Japanese numbered sizing. So usually a size 2 is like a medium. In jeans, like a 32. That is not how these fit. If you're thinking about buying one, make sure you check their website. They have measurements there. These fit like a 30. Maybe even slightly smaller, like a true to size 30. You know, it really is like if you get a pair of like hysteric glamour size 2s. They've really gone hard on the Japanese side of things. But let me tell you, I'm glad I got this size because I don't think I have ever had a pair of jeans that fits my ass as well as these do. Like, did they know my body? Did they tailor these just for me? The fit on these is gnarly good. Like, shockingly good. This is the first pair of jeans they've ever released, and they've got the fit dialed in like that. It's actually insane. The cut, as you can see, really nice. You get a good flare going down there. The stacking is solid, but the fit around like the waist and ass, it's slightly high rise. I really like it. But let's move on. Let's throw on the t-shirt, the long sleeve Scar t-shirt, and this one, also really great. Like, this is right up my alley. It's very enfant riche J. Primet, in my opinion, in the way it's cut and the way it fits. The light crop is awesome. The thermal long sleeve is super comfortable, and the thumb holes give it a really nice, edgy punk kind of look that is right up my alley as an aging hardcore punk dude. Slightly like wider neckline, again, something that ERD does really well. So this one, it's gonna fit right into my closet. But let's do the fits. Let's see if these actually work as staples to build your wardrobe around. We're gonna start off with the quote-unquote tailored look. We're going Balenciaga here. So we're gonna start with the shoes. These are the steel toe derbies in green with this like orange braiding going around the sole. Super, super cool, I believe from 2018. And we're gonna do a tailored jacket from Balenciaga, a very early, actually technically women's wear piece. It's like a dark green plaid pattern, double-breasted blazer coat. I love this. I wear it all the time when I'm trying to elevate my look. So once we've got these on, oh my God, it works. It fucking works. It really does. We need accessories though. I think all we need here are sunglasses. Let's do the Enfant Riche de Primé X Jacques-Marie Mage, I think is how they say it. These sunglasses, the Sidewalk Doctors, are incredible. And this fit really fucking works, okay? The flare of the pants is perfect, actually fits in very well with some more recent Demna stuff, so it does not feel out of place with Balenciaga whatsoever. And the light crop of the t-shirt is great underneath this big, flowing, double-breasted blazer. And I also really love, I didn't expect this, I didn't consider it, but the way that the thermal pokes out under the sleeve over my hands is a really, really nice touch. Little check mark next to this one, Blindate. It works with a more upscale tailored look. Let's move on. The next thing we want to see is how it does with a more street style kind of look. Who says street style? Who am I? Anyway, the shoes for this are going to be the Amiri Bone Runners. Listen, I'm not the biggest Amiri fan, but even I will admit when they have a win, and these sneakers are a win. The look of these is fantastic, really nice suede sneakers. And they work really well. I love the way that the jeans fall on top of them, just the right amount pokes out, and the way they fall down the back is really perfect. And the jacket for this one is going to be Enfant Riche de Primé, this pink denim trucker jacket right here. And here is probably where I think it's maybe at its weakest, because this jacket is cropped both in the waist and in the sleeves, and that makes the proportions look a little bit funky, like there's a bit too much of that thermal coming out from under the sleeves. And it's not a problem with the Blindate t-shirt, it's more a mismatch of the jacket and the t-shirt. But that being said, if this jacket fit differently, I could see once again this look being a win. So this one, it doesn't get a check mark, but it's also not an X. It's like a TBD, like could be done better. And now let's try the third look here. I'm really excited for this one. This is like in between, all right? This is the like layered, I don't know, a wrapper look, okay? I don't know. So we're gonna do some boots here, and these are the Balenciaga patent leather monogram badge boots. I love these things, a nice light subtle heel. And again, the way that Balenciaga badge pokes out underneath the stacking from the jeans, mwah, chef's kiss, no notes, I love it. And our outerwear for this is going to be this Yeezy leather shearling jacket. Yeezy, obviously, we're not talking about Ye. Fuck that shit. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about him anymore. But this jacket fucking rules. I love this jacket so much, and it works really well here. But again, we definitely need accessories here. Let's stack this thing out. Let's go nuts. We're gonna do a bunch of rings from Chrome Hearts and Enfant Riche de Primé. We're gonna do an Alix choker, and we're gonna do the Supreme Undercover studded hat. So we're going all out here with the accessories, and once you put it all together, I love this. These sleeves are super long with the shearling, but you still get a little bit of that thermal with the thumb hole coming out. I really love that. The crop, once again, of the t-shirt working incredibly well against this huge flowing coat that I'm essentially drowning in. And the pants over those boots I already mentioned. I love it. This may be my favorite of the bunch. It's like tied between this and the tailored look. I think they both work incredibly well. So this one, absolute check mark across the board, kind of killing it with these. And I don't think it's just me. It's not that I picked well. Like you saw with that second look, I didn't necessarily pick well. it's that these pieces work incredibly well with a super wide range of things. I don't think there are any other two pieces in my closet, like a top and bottom, that I could be this sure they would work with essentially anything. So these are going to be extremely valuable in my wardrobe personally as I'm building out looks. So I mean, I guess in the end, congrats to Blindate. They did these at a really competitive price. They did it for a good reason. I can see why they did it. I think it works well in their inventory, within their inventory stack, and I think it works well for the clientele that they serve. I can totally see the vision here, and I think they did it well with good materials. The pieces have a good design language, and they're well made. I have so few criticisms about these, it's actually crazy. It shocked me. Wow, very cool. I'm psyched on these. All right, that's the video. This is the C1 and C2 from Blindate. Check the link in the description. They did not sponsor this. I paid full price for these, but they were really nice and helpful to me in talking with them leading up to this, all that stuff. Wow, really cool. Really good on them. This could have crashed and burned, but I think they pulled it off and stuck the landing. Thank you so much for watching. Take a look at the other video on screen here. Like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff that helps me in the algorithm, and I'll see you soon.